what would happen if you pulled your dick out on the moon? I guess it depends if you're in the hot part or the cold part, but nothing good.
Probably unpleasant because
I think from the vacuum of space, it's going to like start inflating. Oh, this might be some sort of an enlargement technique.
Yeah, I don't know about you. My dick is actually kind of built to inflate.
You ever see when they take marshmallows and they put them in a container and then they suck all the air out and the marshmallows get huge?
Yeah.
All poofy? That could happen to your cock in space.
That is literally what those vacuum pumps do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would need to
create a vacuum.
Yeah, but if you make any sort of hole or undo the zipper on your moon suit, I think you're going to just rapidly die in other ways, right?
I don't.
Like you might start suffocating before you can even get to peeing.
The suffocation isn't the problem. It's the decompression, I think, being in a vacuum and what that does to all the dissolved gases in your blood and all the surface liquid. Like the liquid on your eyeballs would immediately boil, for example.
It's a negative.
Because like your mouth would immediately boil. Like any liquid would boil. And then I would imagine that the dissolved gases in your blood would start undissolving, and if you had any air in your lungs, like if you took a deep breath and then you opened your suit, I think your lungs would explode. I think the pressure difference, maybe not explode. It would be bad. It would be really bad. I don't know exactly what would happen. All sci-fi movies always do something different.
I asked ChatGPT what would happen if I unzip the fly on my imaginary spacesuit while on the moon. Air would rush out of your suit towards the vacuum. The pressure around your body would drop almost instantly. You wouldn't explode, despite what movies often suggest. Your skin and connective tissue are strong enough to keep you intact. What you would experience, this is a new word to me, embolism.
Embolism.
There's no M, though. Embolism.
Oh.
I'll show you this word. I bet Taylor knows it because he knows them all. At extremely low pressure, water in your exposed tissues and bodily fluids begin to vaporize. I think that's embolism. You'll likely remain conscious for 10 to 15 seconds, potentially longer depending on circumstances, before losing consciousness from lack of oxygen. That seems quick. I can hold my breath more than 15 seconds, but okay. Yeah. After 1 or 2 minutes, severe injury or death would be expected without repressurization. Your body would swell significantly, but it wouldn't freeze instantly. Heat transfer through the vacuum is relatively slow.
Yep.
You'd lose heat primarily through radiation rather than air convection. Okay. So I think it goes a little hard on the no air. 10 seconds? Jesus. Anyone can hold their breath that long.
I don't think you ask it this. What happens if I hold my breath in a vacuum? Or what happens if I hold my breath and then take my helmet off in space? Because I'm wondering what happens to the volume of air in your lungs. That was presumably at like 14.5 psi or something when you inhaled it.
Okay, I think it has the answer you're looking for. Holding your breath will make the situation worse, not protect you, as I think you knew. The air in your lungs is still at 1 atmosphere, while the outside is essentially a vacuum. The pressure difference would cause the air in your lungs to expand violently as it tries to escape. If you would keep your airway closed, your lungs could suffer from barotrauma/rupture. You would not be able to safely hold the air in. If you open your mouth and let the air escape, you'd avoid much of the lung overpressure problem, but you'd rapidly lose oxygen and consciousness. Within roughly 10 to 15 seconds, again, you'd lose consciousness from hypoxia. Prolonged exposure would be fatal unless you were repressurized.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you can't hold your breath. You have to not only would you attempt, if you were going to be depressurized, to blow all the air out of your body and probably curl up into a ball, but once the depressurization happened, it would suck the air out of you anyway. Like it would be. I don't know if you've ever vacuum sealed something and see how it like draws all the moisture even out of a steak, but like it would do that to you. Yeah, it'd be pretty terrible. I don't think it's ever happened.
We shouldn't do that.
I don't think it's ever happened to anyone. I'm sure there's been like on Earth, there's been incidents with vacuum chambers. The Nazis, I think, maybe put people in vacuum chambers.
I asked another question, which I found interesting. Maybe the audience will. I asked it, why would I lose consciousness so quickly? Anyone can hold their breath longer than 10 to 15 seconds. I can stay underwater for a minute. Let's call that an estimate. It says, yes, the distinction is oxygen pressure versus oxygen content. You can hold your breath underwater for a minute because your lungs remain at roughly 1 atmosphere of pressure. Even your blood continues receiving the oxygen already dissolved in your lungs and blood. In the vacuum, your lungs decompress. Your lungs can no longer transfer oxygen effectively. Your blood still contains oxygen. This is important, so you don't instantly go unconscious. The oxygen already in your blood gets consumed. Now, that ties into like my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu experience. You can get choked out in like 3 seconds, 2 seconds, especially if you're working really hard. If you sat down at a hotel lobby and I put a good choke on, it'd take a little longer. But if we were like wrestling leading up to the choke, 2 seconds gets it done. So I could totally see how this is closer to that hotel lobby thing where like 10 to 15 seconds and you're gone.
Yeah.
Everything about space is so hellish. Just a terrible
William Shatner was
place.
right.
Yeah.
It's like, there's nothing but darkness and death out there. It's not cool. Stay on Earth.
Dude, some of those early Soviet cosmonauts were on such. When I saw like a documentary about it the other day, like the conditions in that thing. There was one crew that was hearing knocking outside the spaceship while they were in orbit.
Nah, that could have been a prankster.
Yeah. Probably one of the dogs they
It's
sent
Gregor
before.
outside ship. We know it's you, Gregor.
That you?
They knew because he went bump, 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 bump. Wait a minute. That's not alien.
Don't answer him back.
I wonder how essential astronaut decision making is on the space flights over time, right? So I saw this argument where astronauts were like, I'm the reason we made a man on the moon. It was my heroics and this and that. And the guys from Houston are like, fuck you. You didn't do anything. It took us a long time to decide to replace you with monkeys. And all you did is sit in the seat while the guys downstairs did all the intelligent work.
There's been times where that wasn't true.
I agree. Yeah, right. Like, is Apollo 11 the one where they kind of say
Apollo 13?
Okay.
The way that when they did the burn to do the reentry burn, they're getting close to the return trip to Earth, and they took a grease pen and they drew a triangle on the window and they put the Earth in the triangle, and then the guy behind him hit the fucking gas with what little fuel they have, pulling like multiple G's. I don't know what the acceleration was like, but like nothing you've ever experienced. And he has to, with little mini retro rockets, keep the Earth inside the triangle while they burn all of their fuel, by the way. There's no more. They're burning it all. And he did it. The guys who landed on the moon, like bringing that thing down, that I saw this thing about what their heart rates were, because they have all that monitored. You can see Neil Armstrong's, like, is it called a cardiograph? You can see his heartbeat as he fucking rockets toward the surface of the moon, balancing this jiggle wedge, keeping it right. I think the other guy was piloting and Neil took over for him because his heart rate got too high and Neil's was staying low or something like that. I don't remember the exact story, but that's like Air Force pilots doing Air Force pilot shit.